When it comes to immersive games, you probably want a super complex story, skill trees, amazing writing, beautiful graphics, crazy weather, and intense multifaceted combat with dodging and rolling and all sorts of cool movements. Sounds like a dream come true if you ask most gamers on the internet. But I don't need dynamic horse testicles and the requirement to change your kid's dirty diapers every in-game day to have a good time. I play video games to escape the real world, and the more realistic these games become, the less I'm personally going to want to play them. Because again, if I wanted to do chores, I would clean my room in real life. So my personal preference is more on the arcadey video game style of games. I'm not saying I dislike all realistic games, but I usually prefer the less serious ones. Which is honestly the reason that people put a hit out on me because I said that I don't like Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not saying it's a bad game, people, I'm just saying it's not my style. You know what is my style though? Chainsaw hit zombie, blood shoot out. Punch zombie, he explode. Wow, very much game, super immersive realism. That's what I'm looking for. And that's why games like Doom Eternal are so epic. You can just sit back, grab your controller with your sweaty gamer hands, and entertain yourself without making it into a full-time job. But in my eyes, when it comes to these type of games, there's another one that beats out Doom Eternal for me by a long shot. This beats out most, if not all, of the action-packed, gory FPS type games by a long shot. The one, the only, Left 4 Dead 2. This baby came out in 2009, and it's still one of the highest reviewed and played games on Steam. That was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 12 years ago, and it still holds up when new and exciting games don't even hold up that well. How is that even possible? Well, my friend, I'm going to dive headfirst into the zombie guts in today's video talking about why Left 4 Dead 2 is such an iconic game. Trust me, you are going to want to watch this, especially if you've never played it. Now I want to take a minute to thank the sponsor of today's video, Dragon City. While it may sound like a sick map in Left 4 Dead 2, it's actually a sick mobile game that you should download using my link in the description. Plot twist, right? Dragon City is a free-to-play game that's available on both iOS and Android, but even Windows and Amazon. I mean, I don't think anybody owns a Windows phone, but if you do, you could still play it. In this game, you collect and breed a huge mix of different dragons, which you then train and take into PvP battles with other players. So summon your grandma, because I know she's bored right now, and battle some dragons with her. It's a good time, and maybe you guys could even team up in an alliance. There are hundreds of collectible dragons that you can get, and you simply have to breed 2 of them together to get new ones. Once they evolve and level up, you can bring them to those PvP battles that I mentioned earlier and fight against your friends, or your grandma, or even strangers in different PvP modes. Plus, there are different events every single week, and you could even find some other popular YouTubers in the game like MrBeast and Laserbeam. Even better is that if you sign up using my link in the description, you can get a free legendary Blaze Frost Dragon, which is pretty sick, and a food chest that you could use to help you get started. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out that link in the description and give it a download. And thanks again to Dragon City for sponsoring this video. It is undeniable that Left 4 Dead 2 is an iconic game, especially on PC. The fact that it's remained relevant for this many years goes to show how amazing Valve is with their creations. They paved the way for many modern games as we know them. So why exactly is this game so good, and what actually makes it iconic? To answer that question, we're going to have to dive into the gameplay. Left 4 Dead 2 follows the story of 4 survivors, Coach, Ellis, Nick, and Rochelle, who are on a journey to get evacuated and into a safe zone to survive the extremely dark and depressing apocalypse that's taking place across the country. There is a story, but it's a fairly simple one, and this explanation will do for now. Throughout the journey that's taking place in this game, you'll be dropped into different scenarios in which you have to work together, either with friends or with AI, to get to an extraction point, which will then take you to the next part of your journey. You start out with a choice of different weapons and gear, and you get new and improved weapons and gear as you move on throughout each of these scenarios. All 4 of the survivors that I mentioned earlier are always a part of your journey, and they each make up a fraction of the team that you will learn more about as you progress. You can have 1 to 4 players, and any players that aren't human will automatically be replaced with one of the AI. There are 13 different primary weapons, 3 secondary weapons, and 13 melee weapons in the game, and most of the scenarios give you the choice of pretty much all of these. You can pick up any weapon that you find along the way and trade it for another one later on. These weapons are used to kill whatever nasty beings get in your way as you complete each level and make it to the end. Plus, there are different types of gear and upgrades that you can use to help you out, such as explosive and frag ammo, molotovs, pipe bombs, fireworks, explosive gas tanks, and more. This makes a total of 54 usable items in the game, which compared to many games isn't that many. While it may sound like a bad thing, it's actually one of the first things that go on to make this game so iconic. The simplicity. Left 4 Dead 2 is a very simple game. As you saw, the story is pretty simple, the items are pretty simple, and even the gameplay is pretty simple. It's a game that's very easy to pick up and very easy to learn more about. And this is actually one of the reasons that it's survived for so long. It's one of those games that you and your friends can play when you have nothing else catching your eye. Maybe you don't want to spend 5 hours starting a fresh Civ 5 game and managing multiple cities. Maybe you don't want to have to worry about CSGO ranks or progression in Insurgency Sandstorm. So just pick up Left 4 Dead 2 and shoot some zombies without much thought. It'll always be a great experience. Even past the amount of items and the story, everything else about this game screams simplicity and intentionality. There's no extra gimmicks to hold your attention or make you play longer. You know what you're going to be doing, and killing zombies is really the only thing that you have to focus on. There's no rolling or dodging or sliding or anything that makes the process of killing zombies any more complex. And like I said, that's the beauty of it. But it's not just killing the same type of zombies over and over. That would probably get pretty repetitive. In Left 4 Dead 2, there are 10 traditional types of zombies and special ones that appear in specific scenarios. Each type has a unique trait that makes them something to be feared. There are normal ones, which are pretty useless honestly, the boomer, which explodes, the hunter that jumps on you and pins you down, the smoker, which strangles you, the tank, which is super strong and often kills you if you aren't careful, the charger, which runs into you, the jockey who jumps on your shoulders, the spitter, who, you guessed it, spits acid at you, and 2 types of witches that you probably don't want to mess with. The cool thing about these is that on every map you can find each and every one of them, and every time you play through these maps, the zombie locations are different. So you aren't going to see the same zombies in the same place pretty much ever, and it's a mystery every single time. But there's even more variation and more ways to keep the game interesting, with over 9 base game modes ranging from a normal campaign all the way to survival and versus mode. It's pretty cool, and there's a lot to do in each of them. Plus, you can change the difficulty from easy all the way up to expert, and adding this extra challenge will be worth the effort if you can successfully survive. This variation in the types and locations of the zombies, as well as the game modes, takes the simplistic gameplay, adds a layer of depth, and keeps you interested with every playthrough. It's the second building block that goes on to make this game so iconic. Now I want to talk a bit about the technology behind this game and how damn impressive it is, especially for a game that came out so many years ago. You could have cool zombies and cool challenges, but if the game isn't advanced enough, you are once again going to get bored. But that's not the case with Left 4 Dead 2. The AI is pretty damn complex, and it beats out some of the bigger modern AAA titles when it comes to things like pathfinding. The zombies can take tons of different paths to get to you, climb walls, walk up stairs and ladders, and even sneak attack you. But the most impressive part about the technology and the AI is the director. The director is the name of the AI that's in charge of gameplay experience. This AI creates basically everything about each and every Left 4 Dead 2 scenario that's out there. In fact, the enemies aren't pre-spawned before you start a campaign like you may think they are. The director uses complex algorithms to see where you and your friends are on the map and how you're doing. It then takes this information and spawns enemies based on your location, situation, and status. But going even further, this impressive AI can even make it to where medkits spawn in what appear to be predetermined locations based on your current health situation on top of the amount of enemies that are queued up to spawn in the near future. And best of all of the maps in the game are dynamic, meaning that there's actually different paths and situations that the director can change along the route of the map if things aren't going well or if they are. I could honestly make an entire video about how advanced this really is, so if you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments. It is genuinely impressive how deep this aspect of the game goes, and I feel like you would enjoy hearing about it. But even with only the information I just gave you, you could probably realize that this advanced technology helps to make this game so replayable and iconic. So I cover the simplicity of the game and how it helps to showcase the more complex features. I talked about the variety with each gameplay session, the cool characters and zombie types, the different game modes, and the impressive AI. But I have one final thing that I want to talk about that really shows how much Left 4 Dead 2 shines in a sea of unimpressive games. The level design. Left 4 Dead 2 has outstanding level design. Honestly, some of the best that I've ever seen in a video game. Starting with the basics, all of the different maps are cool enough in their own sense, with cool theming and ideas. But that's just the foundation, and there's a lot more that you can learn about good map design from looking at the ones in Left 4 Dead 2. First of all, you really get to be a part of the environment in this game, instead of just being someone who observes it. The levels have a lot of depth to them, where you really have to get down in the middle of everything to move throughout it. Think of The Last of Us, where you kinda just have to move through an environment to get to the other side. Left 4 Dead 2 is the complete opposite, where you gotta climb up through things, walk around every building, and work your way around the edge of things to make it to the next part. It makes each region super immersive, and it's exciting to truly have to explore the world. On top of this, you never really feel lost in the game. With such complex, multi-layered maps, it's still very rare that you don't know where to go. There's always a beacon that, if you look close enough, can show you exactly where you'll end up later on in an adventure. Like how in Dark Carnival, you can see the Ferris wheel in the distance and you know that's where you need to go. And in the swamp map, the buildings that you need to travel to are slightly lit up and they attract your gaze instantly. Everything has a nice flow, and honestly all of the maps are extremely enjoyable to play on. Plus, they often change due to the director that I mentioned earlier, so different paths could be available at different times. It's super cool, and these maps are one of the many things that go on to make this game so iconic. Even with all of this, there's a lot more that I could cover. I could go into depth about the lore, the speedrunning community, the workshop maps, the graphics, the story, and a lot more. But I'm not going to do that in this video because there's a lot about this game that you need to experience for yourself. Regardless, it's undeniable that Left 4 Dead 2 is without a doubt one of the best games of all time. That's not even just my opinion, it's a fact at this point. I hope this video helped to shine a light on how outstanding the game truly is, and hopefully it helps you to respect what this title has accomplished. Another game that is truly outstanding is also the sponsor of this video that I mentioned earlier, Dragon City. I mean, you have to like dragons, they're freaking sick and they even breathe fire. Don't forget that if you download the game using the link in the description, you will get a super cool Blaze Frost dragon that you can use to start out your experience, and a free chest that gives you a lot of food. I promise you, it's actually a fun game, and that's coming from me who doesn't even play mobile games very often. It'll be linked in the description below if you are interested. Anyways guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. What are your thoughts on Left 4 Dead 2? Do you also think it's one of the best games of all time? And do you want to see a video talking about the AI overlord that rules over the game? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you all enjoyed, I will see you next time, and peace.